Travis Wayne Goodsell, back from my run. It's a hot one. 70 degrees already. After yesterday's 95 degrees where I'm at, and the previous day of 100 degrees. 99 technically, from what they say. We're not even into summer, and it's already burning as an oven. And that's what this video is about. The fulfillment of God's prophecies. I see that YouTube either has the Mormon or they are on full alert right now because all of America has been posting about the attacks by our government in regards to the riots. And so they're on censorship mode right now. And so, yeah, I'm being throttled on the latest video that I'm uploading. Government does not get to claim innocence. Government does not get to claim that they are being bullied when they are being, I can't say attacked because it's defense. The riots are self-defense. That's what our government leaders don't get. But I'm not here to talk about that. Last night, I did a project for Russ that the news helped me stay up to finish it. And he was talking about, well, I was talking about the latest news about the riots in Salt Lake City. And he's saying that, oh, well, you know, I told this other guy that we just need to pray and we will be unharmed. Prayer is the magical spell of Mormonism. And that's what it is. That's what witches do spells for, Mormons. Is so that they can change things in their lives without having to do any of the actual work. And so when you pray, Mormons think that they can just pray and then therefore God will listen to their prayers and save them from having to do the work necessary to fulfill the Word of God. And that's what prayer is supposed to be for, is to get ideas, revelation, as it's called in religion. There we go. And you then fulfill it. You follow the inspiration to lead to the consequences of fulfilling it. It's not a complicated doctrine, but when Mormons embrace witchcraft or versions of Christianity who believe in that same principle, that's what happens. Okay, so Salt Lake City mayor video declares war, has 51 views. That was my highest from last night over the initial one. And 3 Mormons, you know, are happy with declaring war against Mormons. Isn't that interesting? But the initial one is second with 40. And so, yeah, this isn't getting the news coverage like my Magna earthquake coverage did. Isn't that interesting? Somebody must be throttling my channel. So sorry I'm delaying here. I'm checking the reviews and it is more spam. There's a spam thing that if you accept them, YouTube then processes you because of their analytical program to then have that spam channel's video feed posted on your feed for recommendations. And we've got an election coming up, don't we? I wonder what they're planning. And so all the misinformation and disinformation. Oh, wow, there we go. There's full coverage, 2.5 hour coverage, summation of protests on ABC4 News Utah 30 minutes ago. Alrighty. So, yeah, alright. So, I set up the video already, putting the prophecy, the Mormon prophecy, from the Mormon God, that all his words must be fulfilled. It's not complicated, very simple. Mormons should all accept this. There should be no thumbs down on my video for that. And then I put down a prophecy that Russ thought that he could pray away. And I know he's not the only Mormon doing that right now, because there are other Mormons, as I see the thumbs down. Because what is the prophecy? I will read it to you in full. And it shall be called the New Jerusalem, a land of peace. Salem is peace in Hebrew. A land of peace. A city of refuge. A place of safety. Do I need to point out the riots from last night? Isn't this Zion now, Mormons? Because we moved away from the other Zions, so those are no longer required, right? According to the Doctrine and Covenants, if the enemy overcomes you, God's will is not required anymore. God can be stopped by the enemy. Isn't that interesting? All of God's words may not be fulfilled if the enemy, Lucifer, overcomes God. Isn't that interesting? So can we still get into exaltation? Because if we're prevented and we can't be denied blessings, are we now going to embrace satanic plan of salvation? Yeah, the answer is no, Mormons. God's will must be fulfilled. You can't have it stopped by the prayer of righteousness. Remember Moroni praying that his soldiers would have a change of heart. And then he says, my prayer was in vain because it's not according to God's will, because they are past feeling. You cannot pray away God's fulfillment. And so, a place of safety for the saints. Now this is Joseph Smith, section 45 of the Doctrine and Covenants. This is Joseph Smith. Whose saints? Oh, it's those Catholic saints that are dead now, right? The exclusive member club of Catholics. Not all Catholics, just the saints, right? No. Joseph Smith is talking about Mormons. Zion, which he actually says that Zion and New Jerusalem will be separate cities in his July 19th, 1840 talk, shall be called the New Jerusalem, a land of peace, a land of refuge, a place of safety for the Mormons of the Most High God. And the glory of the Lord shall be there, and the terror of the Lord shall also be there, inasmuch that the wicked will not come into it. Now there are Mormons who I saw who say the wicked have come in and they're rioting and Herbert is shutting them down. But wait a minute, they're here. The wicked will not come to Utah, and it shall be called Zion. We have Zion Park. Isn't this Zion, Mormons? Isn't this the place of peace, the land of peace, a city of refuge, a place for safety of the Mormons, for the Mormons? Are you sure you want to go there with the misinterpretation? And there shall be gathered unto it out of every nation. Oops, I missed one, didn't I? 68. And it shall come to pass. Shall come to pass. Not, it may come to pass, I don't know, I'll just see how I'm feeling when it happens. No. It's not, oh, Mormons can pray this away so that it won't happen. No. And it shall come to pass among the wicked. See, the wicked are not in Zion, right? That among the wicked, that every man that will not take his sword against his neighbor must needs flee unto Zion for safety. Where is that Zion? Because we just saw Salt Lake City, where Temple Square is, the center for the church. That's the center stake of Zion, right? Are people able to flee to Zion for safety? Was that the case in Salt Lake City last night? Is that the reason why they have a curfew until Monday morning in Salt Lake City? Are you sure you want to interpret the scriptures that way? And there shall be gathered unto it out of every nation under heaven, and it shall be the only people that shall not be at war one with another. Because the wicked will say, let us not go up to battle against Zion, for the inhabitants of Zion are terrible, wherefore we cannot stand. Sorry, Mormons, this prophecy must be fulfilled. But the question now is, where is Zion for us to flee to? Because it's now been confirmed, Salt Lake City is not the city of Zion. The center stake of Zion, as the Mormon church calls it, has been proven last night, proven not to be the fulfillment of Zion. Remember the Olympics that came by? Let's see if I can find it in Isaiah. That Hinckley purposely, our Mormons purposely committed some scandals, financial scandals, to ensure that the Olympics came here. Oh, is it free? I wonder. I need to check Blue Letter Bible here for a minute. Hold on. Okay. Isaiah 2. Okay. Word that. Isaiah, son of Amos. Okay. Whew. Wouldn't have that been something? Alright. So, yeah, it is still something, because remember, I deciphered Paleo-Hebrew. It is something. It's not something I was thinking it might have been, but it's not. It is still something, which is interesting as to who Isaiah is the son of. It's one of those condensed words like Amen. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Yep, here it is. In verse 2 of chapter 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains. And so, guess what the church did under Hinckley? They tried to have this fulfilled, that the mountain of the Lord's house, the temple, shall be established on the top of the Utah mountains. Is it on the top of the mountains, Mormons? No, it's in the valley. The temples are in the valley. This is not fulfilled. Oh, but the top of the mountains is the Utah Indian name for Utah. It means top of the mountains. Therefore, it is fulfilled. See, they're forcing it. And here we go in verse 3. And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. Oh, they're going to join the church, go to the temple. What sign is at the top of the gates of the Mormon temple in Salt Lake City? Give you a hint. It's not the Star of David. It's another star, and it got turned upside down. If by chance you see a smile, do not let it stay. Quickly turn it upside down and frown that smile away. Remember that primary song? That's how I remember it. It's the inverted pentagram of Lucifer at the gate of the Mormon Salt Lake Temple. I had my picture taken there when I was sealed in that temple. Room number 13 even. And here we go. For, that's a conclusion statement, that's a conclusion word. For, out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. This is why Joseph Smith said there must be two cities, one called Zion, one called New Jerusalem. And he, Joseph Smith, said we must build those cities like mountains. The mountain of the Lord's house. It was not Utah. It was Southern Illinois, actually. And so again, Hinckley thought he could alter the Word of God with the Olympics, calling it a partial fulfillment. Vaughn J. Featherstone often was repeating and said, Hinckley did too, but his words got silenced. And so this is not the prophecy, Mormons. You think Utah, Salt Lake City, is the city of Zion. Because of this passage, because of what Hinckley did in having the Olympics here in Utah. And because of top of the mountains. You say, oh, Utah, it's Zion now. Joseph Smith knew that Brigham Young was going to take Mormons to Utah, and that he was going to have the inverted pentagram as the symbol after Joseph Smith is murdered. Remember the Nauvoo Temple, the inverted pentagrams, designed by Brigham Young's brother-in-law. It was not designed by Joseph. And when did he dedicate the Nauvoo Temple? You can look it up. The church says it. May 1st. What? Not April 6th? Why did Brigham Young do it on May 1st? I wonder. I mean, that's the anniversary of the establishment of the Illuminati, who were infiltrating the Scottish Rites Masons. Wait a minute, that's the Freemasonry of Brigham Young and Heber C. Kimball. Huh. That's the same Freemasonry that Albert Pike said was infiltrated by the Illuminati, and that they are going to establish the doctrine of Lucifer after the Third World War. Destroying Christianity and replacing it with the doctrine of Lucifer. Tying the Illuminati, the Scottish Rites Masons, not the York Rites that the Smiths were a part of, and Lucifer. That's why the symbol of Lucifer is with the Illuminati and the Scottish Rites. And the Nauvoo Temple and the Seagull Gate that points directly at the state capital of Utah, just like the inverted pentagram road design points directly at the White House. Same Scottish Rites, which is just in the horns of that design. And at the doors of the entrance to the Salt Lake Temple. You cannot pray away the fulfillment of prophecy of the church being wicked and needing to be restored. You cannot pray away the prophecy that if there isn't Zion, the entire world will be destroyed. As Ether, as Moroni, both testified about the entire destruction of their people as the warning voice to us in America. You can't pray away the consequences for wickedness, because that's witchcraft. That's the Church of Lucifer. If that's what you're doing, Mormons, you're following the doctrine of Lucifer, fulfilling the prophecy of the destruction of America, because there is no Zion to flee to, because it's not Utah, it is not Salt Lake City. And that's been proven with the riots. Nobody is safe downtown. Nobody can seek refuge downtown. It is not a place of peace downtown. It is not Zion downtown.